I don't know if I'll manage to get any sleep tonight, honestly. I don't know, stressed out about a lot of things. Got to deal with crazy stuff going on. Never stops, and hell, I know I ain't perfect or blameless and everything or whatever. I have regrets in my life. Certainly. Damn near all of them can be traced back to alcohol, pretty much. Or to falling for the wrong women or whatever, you know. I don't know. So much weird stuff in this world. Things I really can't explain. Especially like, well, there was weird stuff when I was younger, but it didn't really start to get like super fucking weird until it didn't get like super duper weird and like the dark ominous tones seeming more everywhere until I was about 16. Yeah, I was 16, it was like 2000, 2001 or something, you know. Especially after like 9/11. That's when it seemed like, you know, the freaking gates of hell opened up or whatever, and things started getting really weird, you know. Of course, I can't pretend like, you know, back then pill popping and smoking a lot of weed and stuff that sort of begun back then. Of course, that had plenty to do with the crazy, you know, craziness going on. Some of it. But part of it was is that, and it was like mess around with like, you know, the psychic exercises and crap, and starting to hang out with, you know, people that were into like witchcraft kind of stuff like that, getting me more into that sort of shit. It just like went. The fucking veil sort of lifted somewhat starting then, and then things just got weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. More of a slow pace until, well, it was different before though. Up until like late 2014, it was still different. Sometime 2014, like late 2014, like things just seemed to get a lot darker. a lot stranger. This old guy hired me to do his lawn, and he had the same name and career path and so on and so forth, basically, as I'm trying to remember the guy's name. There was this book. You see, this old guy, man, he ended up dying. Uh, his wife or whatever said he had a stroke, and they took him to the hospital. He died or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, real cool guy, you know. I thought he was a pretty cool guy. Anyways, cool guy. Anyways, I just looked up on the internet afterwards when I heard that he died, and there was like a strange vibe in the air, kind of around the time when he died too. Just a weird sense and something, something strange in the air, kind of thing. Like people started behaving more strangely and things. I don't know what was going on, and I tried to look up, his name on the internet or whatever to see if there was some kind of newspaper article, an obituary, or funeral announcement or something, and I didn't find anything. But what I found when I looked up the name was that he had the same name as this dude that had written some books about psychic warfare and for the army or something like that. He was some kind of psychic warrior or something. I don't know if it was him or just had the same name, but that's a heck of a coincidence and odd and everything. Dave Morehouse. Yeah. Cool guy. Cool dude. Anyways. I heard about that. Like I prayed for him to, that happened. That he get into heaven. And I drove past this sign. I don't know if that was the same time or if it was just sometime around there. He had this house that was down the street from a church, and there was this church that had a sign out front. It said it was some prayer from the Bible about how to renew your, renewal of the heart and of the spirit and everything, something like that. She'll give unto you a new heart, and I don't know. And I like. Anyways, that was strange, and then I was praying for him, and it was around that time and similar time, like around after that happened, where I was sitting and I was doing a lot of praying, and I watched these movies. I got on the internet. One was God is Not Dead, and another one was like that's got Kevin Sorbo or whatever. The other one was like Heaven is for Real, right? And I was praying for him, and I was praying the prayers in the movie, and anyways, the Heaven is for Real one was had this scene at the end where it shows this girl Akiana Kramaric or whatever, that had painted like some picture of Jesus and some others, and I just was curious about like, I'll see what paintings, because it said she had visions from heaven and all this kind of, and I go look in the stuff, go look at the the paintings that show up on the internet, and I scan past one that looks just like me. It's not, not that one, but it's called filtering self-awareness, right? Anyways, so that was again weird, right? More weirdness start up there, and then I watched the movie God Is Not Dead. And there were some prayers at the end. I was praying for a sign, and then I felt this presence, man. I felt this strong presence, and lightning flashed out the window, like just right on time with my prayers, and I looked out, and that was the night that it was like last night of July into like the first morning or night, the first morning of August or whatever. Basically, this lightning storm starts up that was like almost global lightning storm or something, right? So more weird, crazy stuff, right? And it's totally silent. There's just lightning all night with almost no rain, no thunder. It was moving all around the sky, like everywhere, right? It was, gotta say, pretty strange, pretty trippy. It went on like all night, and then I looked it up to see if anyone, like, see if anyone on YouTube or someone on the internet had noticed. I saw one video. It was from the town that I lived in. Some girl titled the video "Lightning Storm" and with the date and look, same town that I'm in. Of course, all I could see on her video was just black. But the title of her video was something like UFO and lightning storm, and locate, date and location and everything. And she was like, same town I was. So, apparently people were seeing UFOs in the lightning storm that was happening at this time. After all this other weird stuff had happened in my life right at that period of time. And then a little later on, 2014, my sister showed up on her birthday with her, her boyfriend or whatever, and he was very, very, very drunk. Seemed to be totally straight up demon possessed at the time, and being very, very, very nasty. But at the time, I had been like sober and meditating and praying and stuff for like a month or more at the time when he showed up. So I was in like a good place mentally and spiritually and everything. I helped him into the house. I thought I was doing my, mom and everybody else a favor by letting him come hang out in my room for a little while because he was being nasty and irritating and everything. And I thought, that's okay. I'll handle it so that I'll just deal with it, and thought I figured I'd be fine because I felt like I, kind of had my spiritual protection up or something. I felt like at the time, right? And he's just going on and on talking about how he wants to, all his fantasies of killing me and all the different ways he wants to, kill me and how much he hates me and saying, I really hates me, and you're just dumping all kinds of nasty, nasty freaking crap at me for no idea what the hell his deal was, right? And I just put up with it for a long time. In fact, I even went and even got me to go pick him up some beer at the store, and he had starting to get on my nerves at the time, and I hadn't been drinking for a while. But he got on my nerves enough to where I went and it's like, yeah, I'll pick up a beer. And I picked up a couple of beers or whatever and handed him a beer and had myself like one tall can of beer or something, I think. That's all there was. And I still sat there and just remained calm. I mean, it must have been going on for like an hour and a half, just cussing up a storm and random, murder fantasies about me and all this other crazy stuff. Like, I don't know what the hell his deal was. Just, he pounded down like I don't know, bottle or two of whiskey or something before he showed up. I don't know what the deal was. He was an alcoholic, like every single day. Not like a binge drinker, but like every single day kind of stuff. And, it crawled up his ass, that time. Anyways, he's just sounding like very demon possessed and nasty and stuff. Finally, I got sick of it and got a little, upset or something. And I just said, man, if you can't be nice, you just get the hell out of my room, And he shot out of the chair real fast and came at me and cocked his arm up like he's getting ready to hit me in the face. And I just kind of like, as he's like coming at me to hit me, I'm still in a seated position. I socked him in the face as he was coming at me. Just self-defense. I was dodging and tossed to right. And then, of course, he played the victim forever and ever, pretending like it just hit me for no reason, So I got to be the bad guy basically forever over that because no one else was in the room to notice the shit he was pulling. But he kept up like acting like that off and on for like, years. One minute he'd act like he's your best buddy, and the next minute he'd act like he's trying to hit on you, and the next minute he acts like he wants to kill you, and just let on and on and on with crazy freaking shit, And then anybody else who was in the house would just be like quiet and act like they didn't even notice him or they're just ignoring him. And I would try to ignore him or just try to like play it off like it didn't bother me. Just go on, talking English and everything. But then if I'd raise my voice at him, right, he would, if I'd raise my voice and say, tell him to shut the hell up or anything like that, he'd go, what's wrong with you, Joe? Like I'm the bad guy there. Anyways, that's taken it, that went on for years and years and years. I don't know what the fuck his issue was. I think, anyways, so, well, after that, his issue was that he was mad because I defended myself when he tried to attack me, basically, I guess. He had this like major control freak sort of thing where he just wanted to come in and, run everything. And I don't know. Anyways, whatever it was, I don't know. But I think he had like a lot of issues, youth and everything. And get drinking too much a lot of times, man. Yeah, get drinking, especially around the wrong people, or smoking weed, or being around the wrong people. If you're somebody who's, spiritually open to things or susceptible to these things, then yeah, a demon can jump right in your fucking body and take your goddamn mind over, like, to some extent. Especially if you give yourself over to these things. Christian or not. I mean, if you're a Christian, they can basically jump into you, but not take total control. Not total control. But enough control to, like, try to really screw your life up and stuff. Kind of, as much as they can get away with before you go, oh, the hell's the thing doing? I don't know, man. Anyways, yeah. So, back to, like, the end of 2014. After that situation where I defended myself from this guy coming after me, like, it was like about the time of, like, Halloween was coming up around 2014, and I was all into this, super Christian kick, and I went on these, I don't know, Facebook or MySpace or whatever the heck pages it was, where they had all these prayer request things, right? I wanted as many prayer request things, the biggest number, people prayer request pages that I could find, and I typed out these, like, long, prayers, like asking people to pray against, pray against the devil and the witchcraft ceremonies and all this kind of stuff that was going to be going on, right? So basically, the kind of prayers that would really tick off, evil forces and whatnot, right? And then, being the brilliant fella I was, I went off and had a couple of beers and smoked a bowl of weed with the neighbor. And then the next day I went over to old friend's house, the people I used to hang out with. Got like a pint of vodka, and I felt like I got drugged or something over there. And they got me with something. Somebody got me with something. And I started hearing fucking voices and having, like, really crazy reaction to something. I think I managed to make it home. Whatever it was, like, really made me freak the hell out, and I got out of there. Managed to make it home, like, barely, just dangerous. Back road. I mean, there's nobody on the back road, pretty much. Well, me and pickup truck that was following behind me, I know, I got back home and I was like, felt like I was gonna fall down. Everything was spent, everything was messed up, and I was hearing this voice of this dude that my sister, and they, like, more like demonic sounding, like, oh, all kinds of, like, death threats rolling over and over in my head, crazy sounding shit, like, straight up, psychiatrist would call it a schizophrenic episode or whatever the fuck was going on, right? Weird stuff going on, creepy, like demonic attack sort of stuff, basically. And this weird, crazy demonic attack sort of stuff went on all night into the next day. I went to, I left town to try to get away from it, and like the voices followed, and things just got crazier and crazier, and I was hearing freaking all kinds of weird, like demonic sounding voices of everybody that I'd known in my head, like threatening to kill me and all this kind of stuff, and like, what the fuck is all this? Right? And then, like, stuff actually continued to get crazier. Like, kind of, I mean, first it kind of cooled off and seemed like it got better. Like, there was this point at which I had this dream where, if you want to call it a dream, I don't know, where basically I was in hell fighting off a bunch of demons, and they tore me to shreds and cut me up into pieces and did all kinds of vile crap to me. That's just kind of skipping ahead. That's not really the long version of this here. And I'm trying to get out of there. And I was praying, of course, the whole time. And at some point I came to this like feeling of like acceptance or something, and then everything seemed to be more fine. Like, just like, okay, this sucks. I guess nothing I can do about it. So there comes the acceptance. The hope was gone. And so it's just like, I guess I'll just stare at a wall or something, right? Whatever, can't do anything, basically. And then I kind of had this realization. I was thinking about my body and all this kind of stuff. And I had this thought, like, that if this was some sort of spiritual realm, then that's not really my body. And that whatever that is isn't really me. Because there's like soul and spirit and on and on. So anyway, I started like floating out of that, rising up, and I could feel something like grabbing me like an angel or something. Angel, yeah, God or something, like grabbing me and taking me back to the surface. And I wake up in bed, and I look up, and I see this freaking dude, like not completely clearly, but clearly enough I could see the dude, this dude Garth or whatever. There is what it looked like. Only it wasn't, it was like a demon shaped like him with like a sword trying to come at me, and then he screamed, "Yeah!" And then this light came into the freaking room, and it's like he was blasted out of the room, and I heard this voice of like the voice of God. Yeah. I'm just trying to like, get through the story here. Of when things really, really got crazy. Really started to get crazy. Hey, water. I got a flush because I was some toxins out of my body. Anyways. drank too much. I drank on like Sunday and part of Monday or something like an idiot. Anyways, so I don't even know like how much further I want to get into this. There's this other dude that got like had some kind of weird spiritual happen to him where he seemed like he got possessed or something, and then he ended up dying in a car wreck. It was all fucking totally nuts. Like I don't. Just a lot of really weird, crazy shit went on. Just in the end of 2014. And then, I don't know, 2015 rolled around, and all of a sudden, it's like things are starting to get better and looking up. And I grew this, great garden, big tomato plants, like, 7 foot tall and big, I grew some pot too because it just became legal to do so at the time. I was curious to try doing that, Turned out pretty good. Anyways, yeah. It seemed like things got better and but the Mandela effect was suddenly a big thing that like now I had noticed things being strange before, but it wasn't until like 2015 that all of a sudden there were a bunch of other people talking about things being weird and a bunch of other people that seemed to notice a bunch of things had changed, right? And then things just continued on being like kind of strange, little more strange, a little more weird, a little more weird, on and on. And I spent like 2015 and most of 2015 was pretty much a good year, and then I mean heck I quit drinking for like was it 3.5 months or something, 2.5 months without a single drink at all, like completely cold turkey. And I quit smoking and all this other too, and then but 2.5 months in, exactly what, 10 weeks or whatever, stone cold sober, like all that. And I managed, quit cussing, quit masturbating, quit looking at porn, all that. It's like I was just all cleaned up. I heard this. I honestly, I'd been praying to quit drinking and praying and praying and praying at some point, and then I heard this voice that said the curse is lifted, right? It was after that I managed to just totally quit drinking. Just like that, and cussing and everything else seemed to go away, and just after 2.5 months, I went over to visit my dad's house. I'd been, working out. I got in a lot better shape real quick, and more healthy. I hadn't had a drink in 2.5 months. But I started heading over to my dad's to visit him, and my back was getting was real sore. And it was hot out. It's like summertime, hot out. And the only water bottles I had with me were it got like warm or got hot in the pickup, and so when I got to his house, I reached in his fridge because he had quit drinking too. I thought for quite a while. I reach into his fridge looking for a cold bottle of water, and I hear all these glass bottles clanging together, these beer bottles, and I look in and it's all these fancy beers and stuff, you know. And I don't know how long I paced back and forth in that garage. It must have been, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. It was like, seemed like I was having a conversation with myself. But the more I look back, I remember it was more like I was, like the devil was trying to convince me or something. The devil on my shoulder was trying to convince me, yeah, everything will be fine. Just, you can have a beer. Oh, don't worry. Just have a couple. You'll feel better. But the stuff he said wasn't exactly a lie, right? Because I had a beer or two and my back stopped hurting just like that. Felt better, and then I got out of there after a little while, and I didn't go and buy alcohol or end up getting drunk. And for the next like month or something, I would just have like one tall bottle of beer every so often, maybe every few days if I felt like it, or however often, not that often, and kind of slowly started slipping back into occasional touching. Just I was doing all right. It seemed like for the longest time, controlling it. Still vaping instead of smoking. Still not getting drunk. Still, mostly not looking at porn or doing any of that stuff. And then I don't know. One day I started to think like I'm tired of being alone. I just wanted to have like try to find a girlfriend, try to find a good woman. And I look online and I find this woman that sounds like she's some kind of devout Christian. But she turns out to be basically like a Jezebel or whatever. I guess would be the biblical terminology for her, right? And I wasn't really interested in her, but there was like a part of me. And I wasn't interested in her because I don't know. She wasn't all that physically attractive to me, and she wasn't all that like philosophically or spiritually attractive to me either. But I was lonely, and a part of me like missed the type of like animalistic lust of the freaking demons that existed in the past more, right? And just the fact that I thought about it, right? That I thought about it, and that a part of me kind of was like, I kind of wish I was more like I used to be, because if I was like I was before, I would have just like, hit it and quit it or whatever. Hey, I got a chick in my room. What are you doing? Just be, yeah, right? And like the day after, that night, I think that night or the next night or something was like the last blood moon in the cycle of like blood moons in 2015 or something, right? That all fell on religious holidays and stuff like that, Jewish religious holidays. Yeah, we're talking crazy, crazy freaking shit. You want to call coincidence or whatever, man. anyways, like the next day or something, I ended up buying a individual beer, just trying to think I could control my drinking and everything like I had for the last month, and next thing you know, I'm buying more and more, going out and get cigarettes and cigars, and I show up at this dude Bill's house, and he's doing some kind of fucking weird, like, witchcrafty fucking demon painting shit, spirit consultation shit or whatever the fuck he's doing, where it's like the demons are doing the painting for him and he's painting with a torch, and it's just weird shit, right? If you haven't seen it, it like, yeah. But yeah, crazy, crazy, weird, dark spiritual shit was going on there, basically. And I was like, having this prideful thinking that, oh, I'll be fine, God will protect me, or, had my crucifix and my Saint Benedict medal and my scapular and my, you know, prayer in my heart and everything. Oh, I'll watch my back. I'll be all right. And it wasn't much longer after that. Like I was like a couple days later or something like that. I ended up going. I don't remember how much later it was, honestly. That wasn't that much beyond that. I drove to the store after I had a couple of beers, and I was going to get like a sandwich from Walmart or something, middle of the night, and I swear to God, it was Friday the 13th. Just so happened to be Friday the 13th. I was going to get a sandwich. It was late at night. It was like probably like 11:30 or midnight or something like that. There was like no other traffic on the road, like none, except for the cops that seemingly came out of nowhere and followed me and pulled me over. Two vehicles at the same time that seemed to speed out of, you know, from outside of town to try and come after me to pull me over, which, again, is not like a normal thing, as I didn't speed past some cops or any kind of thing like that. It was like they came off of some back road from somewhere and drove miles to fucking get up behind me. So it was all like some kind of weird orchestrated thing, right? All some weird orchestrated, strange, series of weird fucking spiritual occurrences that happened basically since like 2014, dude. Yeah. And then I was like stuck without a license, dealing with, paying off fines and other bullshit, and just being kind of trapped in place with like what looked like weird freaking rituals and shit going on across the street, and weird like demon looking faces showing up in my surveillance cameras at night, and just big fucking groups of crazy sounding people having weird bonfires like lighting up the sky at night across the street, and just in weird street theater, and having all these different types of, weird, like, what I guess a common term would be perps, kind of following me around, checking up on me every so often, showing up. Sometimes one person, sometimes a group of people, whatever, right? And everything I try to do to like better my situation, better my life, seems to take forever, and everything has gone to shit basically, right? For the most part, right? And then it seemed like things seemed to get a little better for a short period of time around. Well, my mom got some. She had surgery on her knees, right? She was having trouble getting around before. She had surgery on her knees, and then she was able to walk around a lot better. I'd seen her getting around better than I'd seen her walk in years. And she seemed happier and healthier than I'd seen her in years. And then she started to come down with the stuff where she started to get a little, a little sick every now and then, where she'd be throwing up, having diarrhea and stuff every now and then for like a couple of days. Then she'd be better. For like months and months. Never figured out what that was. And that went on until about 2019. Into 2019, it was like that. She'd been losing weight, over years like that. With no doctors coming up with any answers. And 2020 came along and the whole world went completely bonkers, ape shit, bat shit out of hell or whatever, beyond anything I ever fucking seen before. It's like they cranked up the volume of crazy time, to 77,000 or whatever. That's kind of seemed to just continue on ever since. And my grandma died, and my mom died, and I lost my home, and that freaking Garth dude ended up dying. And I've lived in like weird places. I was in the only thing resembling an apartment I could get was some basement room with giant spiders and freaking room number 13. Like, and then I'm like limited to basically the room that I'm stuck in here. This room, or I think I could have had like one room or another room. It just depends, right? What cockroaches? Yeah, crazy stuff going on here, off and on. And a lot of the times, if I try to go DoorDash or do anything like that, there will be, like glitches with the electronics and like, I don't know, my TV box and stuff like that, which is how I would, if I was gonna watch like sermons or watch whatever interesting, I would usually watch stuff like that with the TV box, and then that no longer function. And one little thing after another, it seems like they're not like totally destroying me, but like they want to keep me stuck, trapped, miserable, whatever the fuck, right? And I've had experiences where there have been times when I guess I haven't driven out of the state in a long time, but I've, driven like 150 miles away from this location. And I think it kind of bought me a little bit of time but there was still like weird stuff going on. It wasn't like the universe stopped messing with me. It just, to a lesser degree for a while. This girl that showed up in my life around the time my mom died, and as I was having to move out and everything. Or this woman, and so sometimes people come into my life that seem to be good, there for positive reason, but then I start to wonder sometimes, like sometimes even more so about some of the good ones, the ones that seem like the good ones, if they have any sort of like purity of positive purpose there, are they good angels, or good angels sent to help me, or wicked angels sent to corrupt me, or lead me astray, or fool me, or like what? I've met powerful, antichrist type characters and fallen angels, all kinds of weird I know. Sounds freaking nuts. Oh, believe me, it is fucking nuts. It's absolutely freaking nuts, dude. But it ain't a fucking hallucination either. That'd be nice. You just chalk it up to like a hallucination or some fucking weird drug effect or some shit. Like, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But now it's weird, crazy shit, man. It's very, very strange. In fact, the kind of stuff I've dealt with over these years, especially since 2014, is what made me kind of. I still see signs that seem to be like from God or something. And sometimes I'll run into people that, well, usually when I'm totally drunk or something, I'll run into somebody that end up talking to somebody that seems like they might actually. Of course, when I'm all super drunk, be talking to somebody, I think that they're God or something. I get the feeling, right? What the? Oh. Not exactly a good look for me being drunk. No. Even if I'm being nice and everything. This foolishness. I don't know, I gotta lay off that altogether. Then sometimes I'll meet people that seem like, good angels or something. Positive influence. The only issue with them is that sometimes they seem like I think they truly are positive, good influence, righteous angel or something, but other times there's people that I'm not really sure if they are or if they're pretending to be and they really have some alternative agenda or something kind of thing. Because, I've certainly met people that were like, fallen angels and stuff like that, antichrists, and they're Very interesting characters, I'll give them that. Yeah. Interesting and intelligent character. But gets us out some pretty scary inclinations in them, you know. Sort of still a lot of dark energy you can sense. I've been trying to rid myself of the dark energy that tried to latch onto me in years past, and I'm not sure how much of it is still able to attach to me, or sometimes maybe. For how long, I don't know. But then other times I can even get completely drunk and just be like, I think mostly well intentioned, maybe too much of a dupe or something, I don't know, and too arrogant, too overconfident or fearless or whatever, or no, not fearless, but same difference. You know, going towards what you're, you know, fearful of and facing it or whatever kind of thing. It's kind of stupid though, honestly, a lot of the time. It's stupid not to be afraid of situations that, you know, wisdom would dictate. But you should have some degree of fear in certain situations, but people who truly aren't afraid, I think, are kind of foolish, right? You know, lack of fear isn't courage, it's sort of just mental illness or something. I don't know. I guess that in some ways maybe what a bottle provides me sometimes. That and well, that is the self-destructive sort of stupid shit, though, right? One of the issues I have, I overthink a lot of things, you know, which if I could get, I'm sure there are certain scenarios where overthinking things and to some extent could be beneficial to some, you know, but if you persist trying to do the right things, I'm not really sure what the right things is to do here. I think I should perhaps be wise to leave this place. But honestly, I don't know. Is it even possible? I mean, really, the sort of weird stuff that I've experienced over the last, especially the last, what do we got? About 8 years going on now. Uh, 7, right? Oh, 8. 2014 counts too, right? Before 2014, earlier years, I'd had some kind of sort of various spiritual, intense spiritual experiences and things like that in earlier years too. But after 2014, now things had changed other times too. You'd tell that numerous things changed, not just after 2014, but there were other periods of time where the world seemed to be altered significantly and things changed. Um, Earlier back, well, like I said, there was like 2000 or 2001, things changed. Um, Changed again pretty massively around, say, 2007, 8, 9, something like that, maybe. Or maybe 10. And then there was like more, uh, some kind of new strangeness, things showing up around 2012 as well, toward the end of that. Various shifts, and there's been a whole lot of shifting around, I would say, in the last whole lot of shifting and resetting of time and things like that seems to have been occurring over the last, especially this last year, the last few years or something, but just little strange things here and there, everywhere. Now, I don't know what to think about it's kind of been the last few years, especially, but more so, even just like the whole time, somewhat since 2014, or at least since later in 2015, where things have been dark and weird, but especially after the last few years, this really made me question like the whole religious take on things. As much as I see that sort of a narrative playing out, it seems very strange and very, very, well, very, very strange. Not at all the sort of stuff that I would expect, or that I would. It really seems like, sort of a computer simulation type of a situation, you know, but with a whole lot of religiosity and strangeness involved, and a seeming malevolence, but some of which doesn't necessarily seem malevolent. I don't know. It's like And there seems to be good that shows up here every now and again. Maybe more often than than I know, the better angels of my existence appear here and there, right? More like monitoring, watching, kind of a Truman Show sort of a situation, only with like devils and angels surrounding you or something, kind of. Essentially, something like that. It's pretty much what it feels like. Eh, it's not even a proper description, but I never can seem to more accurately describe the weirdness. You know, I try. Well, I guess I gotta shut this off now and see if I could actually manage to get some short amount of sleep before I have to go deal with more kooky stuff or whatever. I don't know. I hope that the whatever presumed obligation they want to have foisted on me for this last most of a year, that I can be done with that now at the very least, and then I guess a better part of wisdom would be to go and travel into the unknown and see if there's a better place, you know. See if I can find a better place, find some place in the world for me, because I don't. This place is. Maybe wherever I go, there I am, or whatever, and the stimulation follows me, or whatever. But I've heard that if you get outside, what people. I've heard some people refer to it as like the ring of fire or something, the area we're living in. And I've heard that if you get outside of that I know there's pockets of good areas like all over the place. I'm sure there probably are good, positive areas, even in places like California and maybe Detroit and even places like that. But I don't know. I think this area probably would be wise to get out of this area and just hit the road, Jack. Find some. Try to come up with some. Just try to get used to being able to, sleep in a car and get away from this get away from this town at the very least. Get away from this state, better yet. Maybe even numerous states out of here. Let's see if there's part of this country left that could ever be called God's country. You know what I mean? If there's some place outside the darkness with different principalities or whatever over it, or whatever the heck, or I can get to a more favorable, some location that may be more favorable to me, so I can, I don't know, maybe find somewhere where some doors will open up for me to be able to have some kind of housing and be able to make some decent wage or something, or some great miracle befall and rescue me from this nightmare that I've been trapped in for so long. Uh, I hope that I can get just I want to be more like what's bothered me for years. I don't know what the heck it is, but I feel like I've lost. I felt like I lost my whatever innocence or whatever that I felt. I don't know, like I still have animals, little animals come up to me and stuff more, but like when I was younger, I had times where I had like a baby duck follow me back from a river. I had, injured baby birds that were abandoned by their parents that came up to hang out with me. I've saved like little bird that banged into a window and it sat on my lap for a while and sat my hand while it chilled out and before it took off. I've had, used to be a bunch of little frogs that got into my. I used to live in a camp trailer for a while. These frogs came in there and they'd hang out with me and follow me around, and you know, I could always you know, walk right up to people's vicious attack dogs and pet them, or just walk right past them for the most part. I like dogs and cats that you know, people would act amazed when their dog or cat would come up and jump on my lap or walk up and lick my hand or something. Like, he doesn't like anyone. He's afraid of everyone. Remember years back, one time I walked into this chick's apartment that I knew, and I don't know, I don't even remember if her name was Angela or what her name was. I think it was Angela was the name. She had some little daughter or something there. And this little girl points up at me and says, "Look, Mom, he has shiny wings." Right? Like, and then I don't know, something happened where I just got like so traumatized and they're surrounded by so much just like narcissistic abuse and weird crazy shit going on around me for so many years now that I've just become like I got like pretty freaking traumatized and freaked out and disconnected from. Well, I mean, I had birds sit on my shoulder, wild birds sit on my lap. Like they used to be like, you know, I've had deer come up to me almost close enough for me to pet them. You know, very very close to being close enough for me to pet them. I think I actually did touch an elk on the nose when I was a little kid one time. yeah. There's like a whole herd of them. I used to have this, I don't know, it just, I feel like I've been around so much darkness for too long that it's like started making me dirty or something like the hellfire, you know, like I like it's been, and for a while there was really corrupting me and darkening me somewhat more, and I've still been like kind of fearful, honestly, but it's more just like being traumatized, needing to heal. I need to clear out the darkness and trauma and everything. It's a lot of things, man. It built up trauma for over years and years and years. It's a lot of things, you know. It's losing my grandparents, losing my aunt and uncle, losing my mom, having my dad run off and become more nasty and cruel to me, and dealing with that, you know, the verbal abuse and verbal psychological and emotional abuse, that weird dude that my sister was dating for so long, and having the sense of seeming like she abandoned me and stuff like that too, and always backed him, and feeling like nobody would listen to me for years, and you know, it's other things too. It's like, you know, seeing my little dog Toto get hit by a pickup truck and the truck just drive away, and have my dog named Horse, you know, put down when I was a kid, and then lots of little traumas, you know. The traumas of having, you know, our pet cats killed over the years by neighbor dogs, and having some disappear, and feeling like, you know, feeling like I've just been abandoned by everyone and everything almost, kind of, you know. Sucks. And I mean, I could go and get a kitten or something, or a dog, you know, from a humane society or something, probably, and pet. I could really love him and pet him. You know, call him George. I know a lot of people do that because they need like someone, some sort of emotional support there, and they need that, you know. And it's not that I don't feel like that would be helpful to me to have, you know, some love of some animal or something. Is it's certainly something, right? But I have felt trapped and I haven't felt free in the longest time, and I don't want to bring some animal into a position where the animal is. Well, I mean, like, I've seen people that have, you know, some dog that they love or cat that they love or whatever, and they keep them in the car with them, and they live in their car with the dog or whatever, right? And I'm sure they, you know, take the dog out for walks, and they make sure the dog gets fed and everything. But still, seems to me like the dog could be, happier roaming free, running around in 5 acres somewhere, playing with kids, whatever, right? Be in a situation where I guess I kind of don't want to lean on some animal too much and put the animal through trauma that I'm going through. Make some animal carry the weight of my trauma. I need some, you know? Some, dog or cat have to deal with my baggage and shit. Well, it's more of no, it's more of a thing for like the compassion of a human being or something, and you're supposed to. I think a lot of times, like with animals and stuff, you're just supposed to make them feel like everything's okay all the time, and I mean, because you see a lot of these. I've met a lot of these dogs and cats that and stuff that are living in some car with somebody, and I mean, for a dog to be around somebody that's like stressed out and to be in a kind of uncomfortable, cramped position and stuff like that, it's not just stressful the person living in that. The dog gets stressed out too. It's stressful for the pets too, to live in that scenario. Being in some parking lot or something, like weird noises and lights all around you all the time, and anyways, I don't know. Maybe I could. I'll be honest. Some kind of freaking basically what people call a service animal or something probably would be really helpful to me. In some ways, yes. Well, I mean, it's not just. You know what part of it is? For the last like 20 years or so, ever since I was like an older teenager or whatever, every time one of our pets would die, we had so many cats and little dogs, and you know, I used to have hamsters, goldfish, we had a bunch of fish. I had freaking hamster sometimes. Sometimes I had frogs. Sometimes I'd have newts. Sometimes I had tons of pets when I was a kid, and all throughout like my younger years, we had a bunch of animals in the house. And then over the last like 20 some years or whatever, I always had to be the one that had to pick up their body when they died and go and bury them out back or something. So the kind of love I had for pets, like that, it became this traumatic thing I never wanted to face. I was kind of afraid to face death, and it's been scary to me. I wasn't in the room when my mom died. when I was a teenager, I ran away from my grandpa's funeral because I couldn't face it. Or I was at my mom's funeral. I would have been at my grandma's funeral. I wish I would have stuck around for my grandpa's. I guess I just one trauma after another after another. Got to bury all the pets, and then you got to be at all these funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral. Grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, everybody, people you love, animals you love. Again and again and again, one's gone, another's gone, another's gone, another. And it's not just that, it wasn't just like, it's been a lot of people, man. I mean, I had like a ton of pets die, and my girlfriend right out of high school, or girl I wanted to be my girlfriend right out of high school died. Then I got left by some woman that turned out to be married. I gave an engagement ring to. I fell into pill and all this other shit, and a bunch of aunts and uncles died, and then other people that, when my mom remarried, these other, my mom's husband's, brothers and stuff became kind of like uncles to me. And they were pretty cool. Especially, remember Eddie? He's a funny sucker. He was funny. Kind of crude, but funny as hell. Just all the people, so many freaking funerals and so many people gone. With the mother girlfriend I had for a while, even though that, just that was a traumatic experience in itself because she was kind of a stalker type chick or whatever, but there was a lot of good to her too, like buried underneath the darkness. She just had a lot of really messed up trauma in her own life, that a lot of spiritual attacks that had come against her in her life. And I feel like, back in the years past, it's like I was trying to rescue people from their spiritual traumas, and then I got dragged into the spiritual trauma to where, like, if it is a God and the devil type of situation in this world, in this place, then I just need to know what my true purpose is, what I'm supposed to do here, where I'm supposed to go. Let's accept whatever the heck it is, I guess, but I just had all these dreams and all these ideas for things that would be cool, I don't know, man. Maybe do I have some kind of greater purpose or something? I'm supposed to go live in my car or something? Is that some great purpose somehow? I'm supposed to become some guy in a burlap sack standing on a street corner with a cardboard sign that says the end is near. Repent! I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do exactly? I don't know. I don't know. It seems so messed up. Always talk about the. Well, there's a lot of things that I would be in. I don't even know what to say exactly, I guess. Kind of a. I can't help but wonder about things and ask questions about things and be curious about what the purpose of life is here, or what the purpose of, what's the purpose and meaning here, this stuff. Because in so many ways, I feel like I look around at the way the world is and the way most people are having to live, and I feel like it's like the whole world, including religion, is trying to teach us uh, the polar opposite of how things ought to be. Basically, it seems like in a lot of ways. That's what it looks like to me. Like the whole place is trying to, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like it should be this way here, or anywhere for that matter. It's so very elaborate, so much effort, time, and resource, and everything must had to have gone into creating this thing. To what end, though? It seems like stuck in a really crazy video game or something. I guess. Supposed to find ways to enjoy ourselves in a crazy video game, I guess. Or to try and make ourselves miserable forever so we can try to help others. Uh, I think helping others is what it should be about, really, but if enough people thought that way and, the world was more like it should be, then there wouldn't be too many people that actually needed any help because everybody would already be helped. There would just be such an abundance and everyone would live in joy and live at peace and, right? Well, I should see if I can attempt to get a few hours of sleep or something before I have to get up and make myself ready to go deal with more weird stuff or whatever. I'm not really sure what to do as far as like where to go. I feel like I should get out of here though. Yes. I just wish I had a home. Some sort, you know? And some freaking peace. Give me some healing. I'm supposed to live in this world and be a dang, I don't know, go chase the paper all the time or whatever. It's supposed to be my life. And just like, all right, find me a way to get lots of that paper that everyone seems so damn interested in, you know? I mean, I need that stuff because everybody seems to want that stuff and nobody seems to want anything else but that stuff, right? For the most part. It's got the magic paper. It's the magic paper. It's the magic paper that the billionaires printed out on the printers. How are they so rich? Because they can print money out of thin air on the printers, of course. That's why they own the whole world. Shh, you're not supposed to notice that. They've got a license to counterfeit. Buy the whole world with it. Clearly. Oh well.